You know what silently kills sales teams? A CRM so complicated that half the team stops using it. Pipedrive is an intelligent CRM built for growing sales teams. One visual pipeline shows every deal, every stage, and exactly what needs to happen next. It's simple to set up and easy to use. Switch to Pipedrive at pipedrive.com/audio and get an exclusive 30 days free instead of the usual 14-day trial. No payment needed. That's pipedrive.com/audio.
Okay, real talk. Shopping doesn't always boost your confidence. Sometimes you just want to put something on and think, yes, this is me. That's why Stitch Fix works. You take a quick style quiz, size, budget, what you're into, and a real human stylist sends pieces picked just for you. Try everything on at home. Keep what you love, send back the rest. Shipping's free. No subscription required. Get $20 off at stitchfix.com/podcast.
You're due for a change of scenery, so see yourself in Harford County with outdoor fun for everyone. Explore local hiking and waterways, great for fishing, kayaking, and boating. Spend an afternoon at one of the 11 breweries, distilleries, and wineries, plus outdoor concerts, festivals, and events every weekend. Conveniently located just off I-95. It's time you see what Harford County has for you. Plan your trip at HelloHarford.com. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Todd Nathanson.
And I'm Lena Morgan.
And this is Song versus Song. Giving you the best one-on-one matchups this side of, I don't know, what are we doing? UFC? I'm completely lost. This week, we are doing Hung Up by Madonna versus Kylie Minogue's Can't Get You Out of My Head. This one comes to you from Lena. Lena, why did you pick this?
I had a lot of reasons. And then I realized I was probably wrong. And then I thought about it some more. And then I was like, no, I'm right.
Well, we have, we'll get into whether or not you got these mysterious reasons wrong. But we have help to do that today. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a guest in the studio. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Hey, guys. This is Jason Lipschutz. How's it going?
Just fine. You are Jason Lipschutz, editor of Billboard.
Editor, co-chief content officer of Billboard.
Oh man, that is a great title.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be a co-chief content officer when I grew up.
I know. So as a little boy, I would look up and say, Papa, co-chief content officer, and he would say someday. And here I am today.
All right. Thank you for coming in. What I really wanted was to get someone from Pitchfork on here so that they could have Pitchfork re-review Fever by Kylie Minogue.
Well, now wait a minute. The
What?
Pitchfork review is not a bad review.
No, the joke is just that it exists. I know.
Okay.
I know.
I mean, considering the era,
Yes.
the Pitchfork era that we're talking about, I was astonished to see a 7.6. Stunned.
Did you see it at the time?
No, but I did see it today.
Yeah, it's a pretty positive review, all things considered, when the joke was like, haha, Pitchfork reviewing pop. You know, that's the fact that it's a joke doesn't age well, but the review is, if they had given it a bad review, that would be disastrous.
Yeah, it's a good album.
Because like it
spoilers,
because,
Fever's a pretty good record, in my opinion, which is always correct.
All right. I cut you off because we had to do the intro for our guest, but what are your reasons? This is one of the ones that you pitched to me. Why did you pick this one?
So initially, I mean, truly the reason is that two things had happened. One is that there was a Netflix docuseries on Kylie Minogue that I watched.
Is there? Oh my God, I haven't seen it.
And I was like, this is pretty good. And gosh, I like that Kylie Minogue. And then Madonna decided to release a sequel to Confessions on a Dance Floor. And I was like, that's interesting. And then I thought, I definitely wanted to do a Confessions era Madonna song at that point. And I've been haranguing you about doing a different Madonna song that I guess is probably never going to happen. Every time I bring it up, you're never satisfied with the pairings that I have for it. Only because it's like the best Madonna song and maybe the greatest song of the 80s. Anyway, that being said, we're not doing Into the Groove. We are doing Hung Up. And when I was like, okay, this makes sense because Confessions 2 is coming out, I had in my mind, I was like, what would I pair it against? And the first thing I thought of was Gwen Stefani, because she also has a like tick-tock song.
Oh, that's right. That's right. She does.
And I believe it might even be the same producer on both those tracks, but I'm not sure. I'd have to double check my math there. It's certainly a producer that has worked with like that producer's worked with Madonna and Gwen both. And then I realized I did not want to talk about Gwen Stefani at all. I just don't want to do it.
You've done it enough.
Yeah. I was like, I've done my time. I don't want to do it anymore. Or at least, for a while. I'm just, I'm setting her to the side. So I did a thing I never do, which is I clicked on the Spotify radio, and truly like 2 songs down was Can't Get You Out of My Head. And I was like, that's it. That's the one that actually, Spotify in a rare moment fed me something that actually kind of makes sense. If nothing else, in the sense that in the United States, if nowhere else, these are 2 big comeback songs for their respective artists. Like, obviously not actually a comeback song for Kylie if we're looking worldwide, but in the United States, it's the first time she was a hit in like 15 years.
It seemed like this is the moment where like they kind of blossomed into like, oh, they're going to be famous forever. Like it's not going to thing where, the time's going to run out on them. They're just going to be divas that last for eternity. And that is certainly proved true. Arguably truer for Kylie, I think, at this point.
That's an interesting thing that you've said in the time that Confessions 2 is out. It's just, you've literally picked the moment. I was watching a video on Instagram. It's time to go on one of my many ADHD tirades. Here it is. Got nothing to do with anything. I was watching Vera Drew on a podcast, and she was asked if it was possible for a gay man to be an incel. And the
answer is yes.
Yes, and the answer
is yes.
So that is the short version of that answer. The longer version does involve like, well, how would that happen? Because gay men, as a rule, do fuck, but like it's possible. Like maybe you smell bad, maybe you got zombie breath, maybe you don't leave the house much, maybe you're not caught up on the latest popular music, maybe you haven't listened to Confessions 2 yet. And I was like, that's it. She's relevant again. We're back on top, baby.
Here we are.
Kylie has never really had another moment in the U.S. like Fever. She had the one hit in the 80s, a cover of The Locomotion, and nothing else she's ever made it over here until Can't Get You Out of My Head. And arguably nothing really, certainly not on that level.
Not on that level, but culturally, like, we can get into the padam of it all. But
yes, she had padam. Yes,
like that song was a thing a couple years ago for sure.
I was going to say they're relatively recent. Padam. So successful, she was like, I also will make a sequel album. She did it first. She was like, Tension 2, baby.
Oh, right.
There are 2 tensions, and they're both her.
Yeah, I guess Confessions and Tension are both their last humongous albums.
I guess. I mean, it's kind of interesting to sort of talk about like what does that mean, because the context is so different. Because something that I ended up realizing after I had made this decision is that what makes this work is not so much the stuff that they have in common, but the way in which they are each other's opposite number. Because like, even if you look at the moment, right? Like, okay, like Madonna puts out Confessions on a Dance Floor, huge hit. The album before that, bad. Or you know what? I don't want to say bad. I mean, like, personally,
Divisive,
I'm not a huge fan of American Life. I am aware that it has gotten some degree of reappraisal, but like, I don't think it's not like Kylie's divisive album, right? It's not like Impossible Princess. People will often grade as Kylie, like if it's not her best album, it's certainly like a fan favorite album. And it was hated when it came out, and critics panned her and attacked her. And like even her friend Bjork was on TV laughing about it. Anyway, it was a real embarrassing moment that is, but like time is on Kylie's side. I don't think that anybody outside of like just very gay men are out here going like American Life is great, actually. I think that most people are like, it deserves it wasn't that bad. Like it seemed bad at the time and it's really just mediocre. But that's as far as it gets. And the album on the other side of Confessions is also not as big a deal. Whereas if you look at Kylie, it's the exact opposite, right? Like she is doing fine on either side. Like Fever's great, but like Light Years, arguably her best album by a lot of people's standards. And Body Language also is like if she has a velvet rope in her career, it's that one. So she's kind of nothing like Madonna, and she's also nice. And Madonna famously is a bitch, which is why we all love her.
I think it's interesting because, and I have a whole kind of unifying theory for my interaction with these songs, which I can get into. But going back to your point, I think it's interesting because, Confessions on a Dance Floor comes when you're absolutely right that American Life was divisive and derided, but people were still checking for Madonna in the early to mid 2000s and seeing what she came back with in terms of a full-length statement. My two favorite Madonna albums, my favorite era is like Ray of Light into Music. Like she had a number one hit with Music, and so she was still my all-time favorite Madonna song, weirdly enough, is the second single on Music, Don't Tell Me. American Life kind of grinded everything to a screeching halt, at least in terms of hit singles, the kind of commercial mainstream appeal of that era of music for her. And then Hung Up comes back and she kind of swoops back in with this really winning hit. It's with Kylie, especially in the US, because I can't speak too much to her, what she was doing internationally as a commercial artist, before Fever and the years leading up to Fever. But she was, as far as I know, she was kind of like where I was thinking about this comparison today, the Fever moment for Kylie was a little bit like the Zara Larsson moment this year, where she had some very, very early success in the US. She had consistently put out music, but it's not like people were like, oh, there's a new Zara Larsson era, in the same way that, that's kind of how I felt about the Kylie stuff, where she was putting out stuff, putting out singles, putting out albums, but then, just like some things really connects in the Fever album, which was unexpected. So it's almost like they were on different playing fields as far as I could tell. I was in my young teens when all of this was happening, like an MTV student, but not really tracking their trajectories super close in the moment. But looking back, I mean, it's like Madonna, people were still clocking her eras, and Kylie was like, oh, listen to this amazing single. What a pleasant surprise.
As far as Kylie is concerned, in the 90s, there was sort of like a mixture of things happening, but she was still extremely famous. Like I remember there's like a video of her, I think it was like the Brit Awards, and it's like RuPaul and Elton John are hosting, and Kylie comes out and she's just iconic and perfect and has this incredible hair, and she's extremely tiny, very Sabrina Carpenter coded, and she does it's breakout artist, and it's a crazy list of names because it's Four Non-Blondes, Spin Doctors. It's a very weird list. And if you think that's weird, wait until you hear who the winner is. Björk.
Yeah.
It was Björk. And the thing is that very interestingly about Kylie as a figure, if not a pop star, is that when it became clear that Björk and Kylie Minogue were going to be friends, that was crazy. That was totally bizarre. And there's a quote somewhere of Björk talking about how hard it must be to be Kylie Minogue because she's basically the queen. She has to go around. There's a lot of glad-handing she has to do because she is this famous pop princess. And whilst, we're kind of in this era, once you get to 94, 95, where she's trying to do, I guess you'd compare it to Janet Jackson when she got out from under Joe Jackson, right? Trying to do her own thing and put out a self-titled, more, grown up VH1 kind of album. She is still unbelievably, astonishingly famous. Whether she's famous because you love her or are deriding her, in Europe, she's still huge. She's still got the juice. It's just that we had no clue hear at all.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like, would you even know that, like, I don't think it broke through that in the 80s they would call her like the singing budgie and like make fun of her and, and call her like fake and phony because like she got famous because she was on Neighbors, which again, like you couldn't get further from Madonna. She's so opposite because like Madonna is like bursts onto the scene with a self-titled album and she just feels immediately self-possessed.
Yeah, well, she was, Kylie was the girl next door.
Yes, like she is unbelievably famous, but, for a very long time had very little control and kind of just had to like be the one that was like shaking hands and kissing babies.
Before we continue, let's do the thing we always forget. The name is Song versus Song. Which song do you prefer, Lena?
So this is a question of minimalism versus maximalism. Absolutely it is. In my mind, if you listen to these two songs, Can't Get You Out of My Head does a lot with a little. It's not.
I had no idea which way you were going with that.
To me, it's not a sonically complex song. I don't think there's a lot happening there. Whereas like Hung Up is like big and loud and it's using this ABBA song. And like, by the way, great sign that your song is good is if like now when I hear Gimme, 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 I'm like, oh, it's not Hung Up. Damn. Which is incredible. That's how you know you've created a great song using a sample. But I love minimalism. I like maximalism too, where it applies. But I think in the end, I look at Can't Get You Out of My Head and I think perhaps the most aptly named song of all time. So I'm giving it to that one.
To Kylie.
I'm giving it to Kylie. Stunning. And I am so sorry to Madonna, who I love. Please don't come for me, Madonna.
Right.
Confessions
Jason.
2 is great.
For me, it's Can't Get You Out of My Head. And because Hung Up has always been a song I've liked and admired more than Can't Get You Out of My Head, which I've loved. Like, and so to kind of back up and if I can speak a little bit about my interaction with these songs. So you mentioned Pitchfork at the top, right? So yeah. 2005, when Hung Up comes out, is the year I had just turned 18. That was the year I got really, really into indie music. This was like Sufjan Illinois, Wolf Parade. I literally have an Anthony the Johnson's poster. You can see it in that corner of my Zoom. Art Brut, Deerhoof, like what a MIA, Block Party, just an amazing year. I went down that rabbit hole. And as I was going down that rabbit hole, I was always like a fan and appreciator of pop music, but I noticed which pop music was also Pitchfork approved and also kind of blog approved. I was, reading a lot of something you wrote for Stylist Magazine, one of my all-time favorite sites. And, they would have their best singles of the year list. There were a couple different sites, Pitchfork, Stylist, Coke Machine Glow, a couple others that I just loved. And it was always interesting because it would be like out of every 10 songs, it would be like, this Block Party song is the 19th best song of the year. But that was 9 of the 10 songs, but every 1 out of every 10 was like a big pop song. And I was always interested in which pop songs would make those kind of indie leaning lists. And Hung Up was one of them. And then Can't Get You Out of My Head. And to a lesser extent, Love at First Sight, the other huge Kylie song from Fever. But those two songs were like Pitchfork approved. And I was basically like leaning into the gospel of all things blogosphere back then. So, for both the songs Hung Up, which had just come out in 2005, and then Can't Get You Out of My Head, which was a couple years old, I was like, oh, I should reconsider these songs because, like, if the cool kids like Pitchfork like them, then there must be something there. And there's a handful of songs like this. Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson's another one that comes to mind.
Oh, yeah, that was like a humongous turning point.
Huge.
That song created poptimism.
Yeah, and exactly. And so my like earliest interactions, and I was aware of both of those songs before I kind of clocked that the indie blogs loved both of them, but that's what kind of opened my eyes to both of them a little bit. And then with with Can't Get You Out of My Head and the Fever album, which I bought on CD like a couple months later. Yeah, that just clicked with me more. I saw what Hung Up was and was like, wow, this is really kind of a pretty stunning pop song. But like, I like enveloped myself in Can't Get You Out of My Head more. It just connected with me more deeply.
Oh, I see. So,
were you also going to go for Kylie? Is that what was going to happen here? Was this going to be a three-way? Wait, that's no, not like that.
Well, let me say, you know, I was also on Stylist, and I remember getting into pop music mostly through the things they endorsed. I remember getting into like Annie,
yep,
and Robin,
yep,
like, you know, a good 5 years before Dancing on My Own came out. And then there were these two songs, neither of which I like. So
just
I don't think
pointing at the Annie CD right there.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyway.
Yeah.
So let's get back to that thing that you just said. You hateful little bitch.
I don't like either of these. Okay.
You're out of you. That's a sickness.
Okay.
You're a sick person.
I remember Hung Up coming on VH1 and it doing nothing for me. I remember a couple years earlier, Can't Get You Out of My Head also coming on VH1 and it doing nothing for me. I can tell you, I think these are maybe my least favorite singles of either album.
Wow.
When I was doing a deep dive on Madonna, I got to Confessions of a Dance Floor. I only vaguely knew Hung Up, and I knew some people liked it, and I listened to the album and I was like, holy shit, this is a really good album. What the fuck? I didn't see this coming at all.
It is very good. Like when you sit down and listen to it, and this is true of Confessions too, in fact. Great album, right? Track to track, everything kind of gels together. Like Stuart Price just does such a good job of producing that album.
Yeah. To be honest, I went and revisited it because, you know, the sequel came out. And honestly, I didn't quite feel it as much as I did, 10 years ago when I first checked it out. But, you know, I think it holds up. I guess I'm more into the Confessions 2 now. I don't need these old confessions. Fever, there were 3 big singles off of it. Can't Get You Out of My Head, Love at First Sight, and slightly not as big, but I remember it being around for a while, was Coming to My World. All 3 of those off of Fever, and Love at First Sight and Coming to My World are like 2 of my favorite songs of that decade. Like they are like in my soul. And
wow, nothing for In Your Eyes, huh? Okay.
They didn't play that one on VH1, so okay. I don't.
All right.
And I have been trying to find my way and grope my way forward so I can see, because obviously I like the albums and I don't get what's wrong with me. I've never really connected to the 2 biggest songs off the albums. Like if I had to guess, I think I lean Kylie. I
want to be very clear that it's very close for me, at least. Like I went back and forth. I didn't immediately have an answer to this. If that, I just want to make sure that Madonna is getting sufficiently represented here. I think Hung Up is great, no matter what you say, Todd.
I don't know. I just like these songs just feel like stiff and robotic to me, especially compared to Love at First Sight, which, blows me away every single time. But like something about like the metronomic click of both of these songs, tick tock, na 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 na, and I've just never really let them into my heart. I don't know. Maybe it's part of me because I don't really like ABBA.
That might be a damaging factor if you don't like ABBA, and because like you forget kind of how much of Hung Up, and this isn't a negative thing, but like you forget how much of Hung Up is really like based on that sample. It's just like it kind of drives the whole song to me.
Yeah, and like has Madonna ever done sampling before? Certainly not of something that obvious.
Not as obvious as that, and also I think it's very notable that at least at that time it was only the second time that ABBA had ever said yes to having one of their songs sampled, so that was a pretty big deal. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is, but again, if I listen to Gimme, 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 I'm like, I just want to be listening to Hung Up, which is how I know. That's how I know that it's that Hung Up is a great song. Is that I'm like, screw ABBA. Not a thing that I would say very often. As a diehard ABBA fan, I'm just like, no, man, Hung Up is it. And I don't know. I think in the end, again, the deciding factor is it's kind of the Blue Monday of it all. You know,
Blue Monday is a song I like quite a lot.
Yeah, you listen. Did you listen to the Blue Monday version?
Of course I did. Yes.
I mean, the thing is that those two songs sync so perfectly together. And that's, I mean, how genius. And yet also, I don't know. I have that song I have never been able to escape. And I think, too, a big part of this conversation for me is going to come down to, I know this shouldn't matter, but it does. The music video, iconic. Yeah. Singularly, one of the most iconic music videos of all time. Can't get you out of my head. You're
fine.
You're out of your mind. It's so good. The white background, the white dress, the red lips, and then the drape, and then in the background, everyone's wearing like, I think it's like black shirt, red, and the same red as the lip. And they're just like in the background. It works so good. It's so pretty. And it focuses on her in such a perfect, iconic way. Again, this is that minimalism I'm talking about, right? Like we're just doing this very basic color blocking, right? Like it really is like there's the white in the background, the white of the dress, the black of the pants or the black of the shirt or whatever it is, and the red lips. And like, it just does so much with so little. And it's great. And I have to tell you something else. Maybe this is like a controversial opinion. I actually think the Hung Up video is great. And like, if we were talking about any other video, this might be the better video, just not in this case. Because like, here we have, with Hung Up, I think a story being told that feels very much in reaction to what she had gone through with American Life, where she's like kind of afraid to leave this private dance space that she's in. And like, she puts on the music, she's dancing alone in that space, nobody else is there. The song makes its way out into the street and everybody else is like getting really into the song. And once the song fully hits, then she's out in the world and interacting with everybody again. I think that also is a really iconic story. It's really well told visually. It's a really good music video. Also, by the way, at the time when that music video came out, I remember being like, wow, Madonna's so old. Madonna was 47.
20 years there, yeah.
I am 46. Ouch, my entire life.
I absolutely thought that the same way. And of course, I was, half the age that I am now. So
I was definitely not 1 year away from being the age that Madonna was at the time. And it is sobering. It was like, that's crazy. And now I watch the music video and I'm like, she's so young.
Yeah, same. Absolute
girl,
same.
You got it.
Absolute same. That is my exact same thought also. It was like, oh, looking real damn good there, Madonna. Even though she has tried as hard as she can to look exactly the same.
Too. Did you know that? She had like a bunch of broken bones. She was just in the process of mending when she did that music video. She had hurt herself real bad. Yeah, she had like 8 broken bones. I don't remember what it was, but she was like, I think it was like 8 bones or something she had broken at the time. And so she wasn't even sure she's going to be able to pull it off. And then she did. I think that the story on Hung Up and the story on Confessions is also really interesting just because like, not only is there the American life of it all, but also there's like, she was going to make a musical with what's his face? The fulfillment guy.
Oh God, I was reading that. Who guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, like there was that. Yeah, there was like a whole other thing she was going to be doing. And she'd worked with Mirwais and like Mirwais had become like her guy. And then she didn't know what to do and she was feeling really out to sea. But, her producer on tour had been Stuart Price. And so like they ended up working together and they did Hung Up. And that was the song that like kind of unlocked everything that she did after that, right? Again, great story. How much of it is true, couldn't tell you, but like that's the story they gave. And I love that story. And I love that for her. And I love that as a narrative for me to appreciate when I listen to the song and listen to that album. So, and I don't think that, again, Fever doesn't really have that same story because, like, at least in the United States, she was the Locomotion girl in 1988, period. And then this song came out and was just infectious. And that's a story in and of itself, I suppose. It's that like, oh, like this girl who had one hit 15 years ago suddenly comes out with a song that like is inescapable and everywhere at all times. And most people, regardless of how they feel about pop music, like either love it or love to hate it. And like, that's kind of cool as a narrative. But it is very fundamentally different as a story. And it is really important to remember that while Kylie Minogue did have this huge failing in the album Impossible Princess that came in like 98, she had already had a European success with Light Years. Like Light Years came out and like, what do you call it? Was it like Spinning Around or why am I? Of course, like
Spinning Around. Yeah. Spinning.
And like that had, Spinning Around, which if you've never heard that song, you should listen to it. But like she had already had a comeback, right? She had basically tried to be like an art pop girly and got absolutely demolished. And then, and it's not bad. By the way, if you've never listened to Impossible Princess, pretty good. I have not. There are people who say it's her best work. I would strongly disagree. But I do think that it's, like, it's not like a Miley's Dead Pet situation. Like, it's not like that unhinged. But I think there's a lot interesting there. And I think that she needed to do it. But like, the point is that Light Years had already happened for her. So she was already largely, if not fully back on top, obviously was still in a pretty good way again. Whereas Madonna had not come back until Hung Up. Like Hung Up was like the thing that was like, oh, we're so back. Look how back we are.
When I first got on the internet as like a teenager trying to learn about music, because I knew nothing about it, every time Kylie Minogue came up, and this would have been before Fever came out, every time she came up, it was like in relation to Nick Cave, who I also didn't know who that was. So
that is true. I mean, boy, Kylie Minogue, often identified by the man that she was standing next to. That is and unfairly, of course, and I think
this was before poptimism. This is before people were taking it seriously. This was still like an incredible novelty. It's not like, now when like Beyonce and Vampire Weekend were jammed together or anything. It was like a big deal at the time.
Yeah, I know. I'm not denying it. I'm just saying that, this is a thing that I think about all the time when I think about Kylie Minogue and Madonna, two, blonde pop stars that got their start in the 80s. Like you can find things that are similar about them, but fundamentally they are so, so different because Kylie was always getting kind of pushed down, always thought less of. And I'm not trying to, obviously people were constantly like trying to piss on Madonna's parade. It's just that it fundamentally didn't fucking work. Like you were never going to do anything to Madonna. Like you couldn't, you were like, the thing about American Life that makes it so exceptional is that it was the first time in her life when someone was like, hey, Madonna, this thing you want to do is maybe too much. And she was like, shit, you're right. She'd never done it before. That had never happened. She never backed down on anything. So it was very interesting to kind of see her come back. And that's the other, I think, when people talk about Hung Up and Confessions is that while it's a popular song, and I think also important to note that like, if you're not a person that was like born like at a time in the 20th century where like the 80s would matter to you in any appreciable way, Hung Up might have been the first song you heard by Madonna. And if so, that's great. And you're going to really like it. I think that for longtime Madonna fans, there was a feeling of she took a big risk and now she's going to make some dance music. Like there is a certain degree of safety to Confessions on a Dance Floor. Great album, but it is a little safe compared to American Life, at least the intent of what American Life was supposed to be.
It's funny because like it took her 20 years to try and remake another Confessions. It is by far her most acclaimed album. arguably the 21st century.
Confessions
only
2?
music. Confessions 1. I mean.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think that music is probably. I mean, maybe not critically, but like in my heart of the 2000s, her best material is on that. Music is the album. Like that album is like magic. That thing is just great from start to. Really, I love music. Is a great record.
It's true. This is facts.
See,
is it
factually true? It is a great record.
Yeah.
I think the music video for music is awful. Just
Come
awful.
on.
She looks ridiculous.
Ali G.
Ali
when
G,
Ali G was introduced to the world.
That is certainly the first place where I ever heard of Ali G. That is true. I think I just don't like Beer Wise's stuff. Period. I totally get you going hard for Don't Tell Me. That makes perfect sense to me. But like the rest, I don't know.
No, it's that is a great album.
And bloops
extremely cohesive, and then has huge hits.
And to me, I think that is part of why something like Hung Up, and honestly Confessions too, which I have enjoyed but I'm not like it's not like my favorite album of this year. I think it's part of it is just personal preference, where I say like when Ray of Light and Music are my favorite Madonna albums or / Madonna eras. I just kind of like her in that mode of like obviously some up-tempo stuff, but a little bit less like straight ahead dance, and more experimental kind of pop rock. Like even something like the Austin Powers song "Beautiful Stranger." I think that song's like a 10 out of 10. Like I think that
song fucks. Yes,
I think that song's like fantastic, and that's not like a dance song. It's almost like an alternative song. But I just think it's like exactly what the sound that I gravitate towards the most with Madonna. And again, part of that's just personal preference. I totally get someone hearing Hung Up and being like, holy shit, like I absolutely like have to hit the dance floor now. That's not me. But I do feel like that with Can't Get You Out of My Head. Like I think part of it for me, you described the beat as minimalist. I think you're absolutely right when you say that, but the way that it is deployed in that song is just so magical to me, where I was listening to it again today, and the way that the beat hits within, like in rhythm with her syllables, when it's can't get you out of my head, like it's just so pounding, and it really kind of evokes this sort of like desperation to me, where she's just like kind of giving into this obsession and like literally saying set me free, with free as like 8 seconds of that syllable. Like it's just like it really kind of captures a mood to me in a way that like Hung Up's really fun to me. I like I said, I more admire it, but there's less of that kind of emotion imbued in it to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Can't Get You Out of My Head is like hypnotic.
Yeah, it's a perfect word for it.
Set Me Free is like the closest I get to really feeling either of these songs, because that's where it feels like it's really like bursting to life. Hypnotic is a word for it, yes.
Were you going to say repetitive is another?
Yeah, yes.
The thing is, again, that's the thing about minimalism is that it can be repetitive, but that's either why it works or it doesn't for you, I think, right? That's the bottom line, right? That's the risk of minimalism.
Well, it's such an interesting song. It's a more interesting structure to me than Hung Up, which is Hung Up is very kind of obviously extended intro, but like very verse, chorus. Whereas, you hit with Can't Get You Out of My Head, you hit the la 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 part and you think that's kind of like an intro. And then at some point it kind of clicks like, oh, this is the chorus of the song. Like this is what the refrain is. And then it just gets into the verses, which are very kind of similar, the first and second verse. And then it kind of twists a little bit on the bridge. But yeah, to your point, it's like, there's not a lot of deviation in the kind of flow of Can't Get You Out of My Head, but it's just it just kind of hammers you over and over again with that beat, which it's effective to me. Yeah,
I just get lost in it. I really do. Yeah. Okay, so here's a question that is, I mean, not related to songs per se, but I like to think about like best 3 album runs. for artists.
Yep.
Would you say, Jason, that like, so you said that you love music and Ray of Light. Would you say that the best 3 album run for Madonna is Bedtime Stories through music?
Yeah, to me it is. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think you could do like a version into like a prayer. I think I said like a version. It's like a virgin.
That's the BBC thing they do.
I think they do.
Australia. That's Australian.
Okay,
Excuse me.
there you go.
Like a virgin, True Blue, like a prayer. You can make a case for that, but to me, Bedtime Stories. I mean, Ray of Light is my favorite Madonna album, and then Music is my second favorite, but it has some of my favorite singles of hers. Yeah, I just like I think that is just sort of like a masterful mid-period run for her. It is interesting. Something you just said a couple minutes ago has been clanging around in my head, which is like it took her 20 years to get back to Confessions. It is interesting that she went away not only from that concept for 20 years, but also like if you look at her output in the 2010s, she could have just made like after Hard Candy or MDMA didn't really work. She could have been like, all right, Stuart, like let's go, and she kind of kept going down a little bit of a rabbit hole away from that until finally 2026 she returns to it like full force, and people love it. It is like her, like there's definitely like a very interesting like long read to be written about Madonna's 2010s output.
I think her spiral away from that, because I get things like, okay, she's got figured out how her future is going to go, like the persona she's going to have. She's going to be, as she reaches her, latter years, her Cher years. And it seemed like it was going to go well for her. And instead, she kind of like veered in the opposite direction where, like, I feel like I can say this, like Hung Up is a 40-year-old's record. Like she seems like she's aged into the elder diva role at that point. And she seemed scared of that. And she kept running in the opposite direction. Like the Hard Candy's all Timbaland. Yeah. And, it's a weird fit. It's a weird fit. And then, the Nicki collabs and,
Yeah, I think there's something very
the
fundamentally
reggaeton one. Like
there's a big difference between that and in 2026 having Sabrina Carpenter come on. It's a different animal, right? Like Sabrina Carpenter is very obvious. Like it's just Madonna being like, hey, this girl is doing a lot of the stuff I was doing. And so I just want to like kind of honor the journey, the history that gets from her, from me to her, and say like, hey, like we are both relevant right now. Like we both have like, we both have something to say about it. I mean, like it's kind of
you
great.
In love.
Yeah. I mean, listen, like that is not a complicated song, but it is effective. Like I listened to it and I was like, this is gym music. Like,
yep.
I was like, this is some gym music. This, this is like when Britney Spears hit her gym music era.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, I mean, like, I don't think the whole, obviously yeah. I don't think all of Confessions 2 is Work Bitch, obviously. I mean, certainly there's one where it's like,
I wish it was.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be amazing?
I love Work Bitch. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, Work Bitch is a great genre. I also, still have questions about her like Touch Grass song. She's that one song that's basically like, I don't fuck with it. Go touch grass. She might have like, it's a little bit like Old Lady Yells at Cloud, that song. Like I still think that there's something fun about it. I mean, like Danceteria is the song, is the track on that album for me. But
same, absolute same. Danceteria. For me, I don't know. Like I really dug the part where she just says, people think dance music is shallow, but it's very deep. And like, this is like, you shouldn't have to say this. It should remain subtext. And I'm embarrassed that it works so well on me. I was like, oh yes, Madonna, indeed.
I mean, again, many years ago, Todd, we did a Madonna episode.
Yeah, it was like one of our first. And that was for year one.
I seem to recall being a little hard on Madonna for being such an unrepentant bitch. And I have to tell you that in the intervening years, my position has changed. And now I think of her as somebody that I aspire to be more like. And like, I love Kylie Minogue. I love that there is something very like if you watch a docuseries about her, you know, yes, she's very forthright. Yes, she is, you know, she's like, why? Yeah, like, I'm going to fuck this bad boy. You know why? Because fucking bad boys is fun, right? Like, she does have an element of that, but she's still like ultimately kind of like a sweet, good-natured person. Not Madonna, baby. She is like absolutely the coldest baddie that has ever lived. And the thing is, that is aspiring. Like that's a person that you look at and you go, I need that energy. I have been dating men now, and I need Madonna energy to survive dating cis men so bad. And so I kind of view her through a different lens. And maybe also now that I'm, you know, 46 going on 47, perhaps Confessions on a Dance Floor is my album now. Who could say?
Well, I mean, I'm going to stick up for Kylie. Like, Kylie blossoming, now that I have the full context, because, you know, Can't Get You Out of My Head was the first thing I ever heard from her, but like Kylie going from, you know, I Should Be So Lucky to
Lucky.
To, you know, Can't Get You Out of My Head. That felt like, you know, a woman really coming into her own, especially for so long as the pretty blonde girl next door type, like a very, like the young Taylor Swift, like Debbie Gibson kind of thing, to turn into like this, you know, mega dance diva.
I mean,
that felt inspiring to me.
Everything about Kylie Minogue is inspiring.
Yeah.
She had like a guy that she was deeply in love with who died tragically, and like all eyes were on her. She had to deal with that. And then she went through this terrible thing where she was like trying to create things in her own like alt style that she thought was the thing that was best for her. And people shit all over her. And she almost quit. And then instead, she eventually got to Fever, right? Like she went from Light Years, a success, to Fever, an enormous success. And then, as if that was not inspiring enough, instead of making Fever 2, she made Body Language, which is an R&B record, which is also amazing. And then she got cancer and survived and put out fucking 10 or X or like whatever it is, which is not a great record. However, I think that it is it's an album with a lot of really good songs. She's kind of like just enjoying the fact that she's still alive. And then like, I don't think there's any point in which I don't think Kylie Minogue is a not inspiring person. She's always inspired me because she does that. And then it's like, then she worked with Stuart Price and did Aphrodite, which is the most beloved album that I consider to be just okay personally. But it's good. It's a good album. And like, yeah, we talked about Tension for like a split second at the beginning of this. Padam. I mean, like, great song all over. But she also did like a disco album in 2020, like in her home studio. I don't know. She's a fucking queen, dude. Like Kylie Minogue is somebody to be like, I am inspired by her. I love her. I aspire to be a mean bitch like Madonna. Like both of these women hold a very important, like they each have a chamber in my heart. You know what I mean?
You know, I think, you know, we obviously have our preferences with these two songs. I think it's worth noting how important both of these songs were in different ways. I mean, we talked a little bit about how Madonna got her mojo back commercially with Hung Up as just like, you know, a pivot away from American life. And, you know, that obviously, like, look, you know, the next 10 years of her singles output are uneven, but, you know, she had Hung Up. Like if she did not have Hung Up, she would not have like a beloved, you know, danceable, critically acclaimed single in, you know, for like a very long stretch of time. And that kind of got her not only through the next few years, the next few eras, but also now to kind of set up this sequel album that is doing so well. And then for Kylie, like, look, I think I saw Kylie on the Aphrodite tour, and I think she played Hammerstein Ballroom. She could play, like, look, obviously this is just talking specifically about the US. She could play to pretty big crowds because of Can't Get You Out of My Head. Like, you know, not a ton of other singles especially from other albums, worked in the US, but like Can't Get You Out of My Head certainly did. And, you know, she was able to level up as a performer and touring artist. Like that show was bonkers. The Aphrodite tour was so fun and so funny. I just remember like flexing Greek gods on stage with her like the whole damn time.
That sounds right.
I think, yeah, I mean, very important to keep in mind that like before she even got out of her, she was kind of a puppet on the string era of the 1980s. She already had the gay community in the palm of her hand. Like, I think by like album 3, she had basically had them. And by Aphrodite, like, forget it. It's over. Done. This is like, here's a question. Feel free to answer this on Spotify because I sure don't know. Who is more beloved by the gays? I mean, it has to be Madonna, right? Like, I don't know how it's like. Madonna is like the alpha and the omega, like, for the gay community. She still has to be. But like, Kylie, pretty fucking close, man. People like the gays love her, and I think are correct too. And certainly, yeah, I mean, like the Aphrodite tour, by that point, like she is leaning as far in as she can to the fact that that is the fan base, especially in the United States.
Yeah, but you know, I totally agree. But you know, sometimes for an artist that checks all those boxes like Kylie does in so many ways in terms of an international pop star, sometimes you just need that one hit. Like I remember a couple of years ago, I was at the Coldplay show at MetLife Stadium, and they brought out Kylie as a surprise guest, and of course she did Can't Get You Out of My Head. And like, you know, she's able to have like a stadium in New Jersey sing along with a song that's 20 years old because that song was so enormous. And if she did not have that song, you know, she still has a very successful career, but she has a very different career in the US.
Yeah. She also, I mean, I think that there's a story behind her and Coldplay, which I believe is
besties. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the story is she was supposed to play Glasgow and she got diagnosed with cancer. And so like kind of I think it was that. I know there was a point in which she was supposed to do something and very last minute Coldplay like kind of like swooped in and like kind of did it for her. And like, I think they played something by her that night. And like, yeah, they became very close after that. And then like, eventually she managed to like come back and do like a Glasgow show, like when she was like fully healed and everything. So, you know, we often say mean things about Coldplay, but this is definitely an occasion more like
that.
Yeah. Sidebar very quickly, just because I brought it up earlier. I would agree with Jason that for me, the best 3-album run for Madonna is Bedtime Stories through music. But Todd, I'm very curious to see where you land, because when I asked what's the best Madonna album, you picked the first album, which listen, like I was very mean to you. And then of course, immediately after my friend Rocheline was like, oh, I wore out the tape for that. And I was like, well, then it must be correct.
I like the first album, just kind of how raw it is. It's like her garage rock era. Like it's still, you know, she hasn't become the person she will be yet. I don't know if I would necessarily call it my favorite of them. Like, you know, it's really tempting to do the really obvious one, which is, you know, Like a Virgin, True Blue, Like a Prayer. Like, it seems like, I mean, that's my temptation. Like, I want to say, you know, go with the 90s run also, but like, let's be honest. No, it's probably like either Madonna to True Blue or Like a Virgin to Like a Prayer.
That's legit. I do want to say for the record, and I'm like, if anybody else has an answer to this, by all means, but in preparation to this, I did just listen to like 99% of my prep was just listening to Kylie. Just so much listening to Kylie. And I have to say that truly, 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 Light Years, Fever, and Body Language, that's a 3-album run for the ages. Like if you've only heard Fever or whatever it is, like, or have not listened to these albums in their entirety, sit down one day and just listen to those 3 albums. They are incredible. They are as good as any of the best pop music that I've ever heard in my life.
Well, I will do that when I get the chance. You think we've talked enough?
Yeah, we've already talked. We've almost hit an hour. So we've really been doing it. This is what happens when it's one of my picks, as you know. They're always long. All right. So once we've talked a bunch of nonsense, was this, substantive conversation? Anyway, we usually do these.
Yes. Thank you, Jason. That's why we watch you on.
There you go.
Yeah, baby.
We do 4 questions. They're sort of designed to kind of like take everything that we talked about and put them in a little bow, make them make sense. The first is a question of history. One of these songs is going to stick around forever. The other one is going to disappear like it was never there, ever. For the culture, Jason, which song has to stay?
I think it's probably Hung Up, because
Really?
I think in terms of sticking around forever, you kind of can't tell the story of Madonna's career without Hung Up. And I think obviously Madonna as a defining artist for this past half century in pop music, I think it's too important. And, for all the reasons we've talked about, it's a great song. I personally connect more with Can't Get You Out of My Head, but I think Hung Up is, if one of them was going to stick around and one was going to disappear, I think Hung Up sticks around.
I completely disagree. I do not agree with that at all. I think it's got to be Can't Get You Out of My Head. Like that's the trendsetter for me. Like that's like the entirety of Europop for the next ever. Like including Hung Up probably. I mean, like it came out first. So and more importantly, like I think Madonna would have been fine regardless. But like Kylie needed Can't Get You Out of My Head. Like Can't Get You Out of My Head Kylie's career is much different than Madonna's is without Hung Up. That's my take.
I really don't know. I really don't. I actually think that this is one of the hardest ones we've ever had, because the thing is, I think that Madonna, I don't know who she is without Hung Up in the 21st century. It's critically important that that it exists, and it is a great song, and is better than the song that it samples. A true rarity, in my opinion.
Let me ask you a question to that point. Do you think, say Hung Up does not exist, it's just wiped off the face of the earth, do we get Confessions 2? Like, does Confessions 2 exist if Hung Up just never comes out?
I don't even know if we get Confessions 1. Because the thing is that Hung Up historically was the starting point for Confessions. Without that song, if there's a Confessions at all, it's a completely different record. Completely different. So it's really hard to say. And it really, I think the thing that makes me kind of err on the side of Hung Up, which is crazy for me to think, is because, again, when I was thinking about doing this and knowing Confessions 2 was coming out, a guy who we had on as a previous guest, Josh from Target Audience, he was doing his own run through all of the Madonna albums because he really had not heard most of Madonna. And the only thing that he knew going in was Hung Up. He was like, I just don't really know any music from the 1900s. And I was like,
the 1900s. Eat my ass.
Now it turned out that he didn't know a couple other Madonna songs, but Hung Up was the first Madonna song he heard, and was the reason why he was like, Madonna seems like a big deal. And when he said that, it really changed the way I thought about Hung Up. Because up until then, I was like, very good song, great comeback song. Yep. But it had never occurred to me that for a lot of people, it is the Madonna song.
Yeah, same way In Rainbows is the Radiohead album.
Yeah, that's like a perfect comparison, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because yes, I am old, so of course it's OK Computer. Except it isn't anymore. History was changed, and now it's In Rainbows, another great album. Anyway, neither here nor there. Good comparison. But yeah, I think that it's really hard for me to take a pick because, I love Can't Get You Out of My Head, but again, gosh. I did what? So Kylie Minogue never gets big again in America. So what? I guess the bummer is that, if you're in America, you're not going to get a chance to see her live, which, does suck. But Get on a plane, bitch. I guess that's the lesson there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna pick hung up. Can't believe it, but I did it.
There you go.
All right.
Question
I guess I'm outvoted.
Question number 2. You can experience soup to nuts the creation of either of these 2 songs, including the music video. Which is the one where you want to see how the sausage got made?
I think it's going to be Can't Get Out of Your Head again. It is a better video. I think it's an interesting video. I remember it distinctly. All the white and her with the sheet she was wearing.
It's a hell of a sheet.
Yeah.
Yes, with a strategically cut.
Yes, it was a holy sheet.
I would say Can't Get You Out of My Head because the creation of I'm sure the creation of Hung Up was cool, but also just seems like a lot of like waiting around to see if the sample is going to get cleared. It's just going to be like, all right, like, what do we hear back? It's going to be a lot of that. Whereas the Can't Get You Out of My Head, like experiencing that beat as it came together in the studio would be pretty sick.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I also think that there is an unfair advantage in a way here in the sense that like there's, like in the days before podcasts really existed, there's still audio. There's still like an hour and a half to 2 hour interview of Madonna talking about this era. So like it's out there. If you want to know, like you wouldn't be a fly on the wall, but you'd get the story. Like she talks about it in quite a bit of detail. It's out there. The third question. Oh, this is a rarity. Todd, this is one of those times where this question actually has weight, value.
Yeah.
Megan Thee Stallion, gonna get up to a night of hot girl shit. Which one of these songs is the one that's going on the playlist? Only one. Only one of these songs can be hot girl shit. Which one is it?
It's funny because like one, they're both obviously hot girl shit. We're just arguing about which is hotter girl shit. I feel like both of these sentiments are not very Megan Thee Stallion. I can't imagine her getting hung up on anyone. I can't imagine her not being able to get someone out of her head. I think she can get people out of her head very, very easily, or at least that's how she prevents herself. Yeah. Okay. Someone else answer first. This is hard.
I'm going to take hung up just because I think it has heat.
Yeah.
Like that's my pick. And like, here's the thing. Megan Thee Stallion. Do I think that she could be like 47-year-old Madonna when she is 47 years old?
Yes.
Could be. Entirely possible. So I just kind of think that like they vibe. You know what I mean? Like they are just like game, like recognizes game.
I guess I'll say the same thing. I don't know. I feel like, in terms of hot girl shit, I am a little bit rusty in terms of classic definitions. Mm-hmm. And so I would say that, hung up music video, just kind of going crazy over the sample. Let's go with hung up.
All right, Todd, now you got to weigh
in.
Sure.
I don't really have an argument for one over the other. I'll let you. It's 2-0. I abstain.
Great. And now the fourth question, the most important question that we ask, and not just in the podcast, but in all human history. William Shatner, thespian, equestrian, singer, we're going to give it to him. He's going to do a William Shatner version of one and only one of these 2 songs. Lyrically speaking, which one of these songs most deserves to be shat upon?
I feel like it's got to be hung up. Like there's just not much, like Can't Get You Out of My Head does not really have a whole lot of words.
But it's the challenge of him saying it a different way every time.
Every la 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 has to be.
Every one has to be different.
Inflection.
Yeah.
How many different ways can he do it? I believe in you, Bill Shatner.
I want to hear how he does Set Me Free in Can't Get You Out of My Head. So that's my pick.
Every single one of the lines is like there's not a lot of lyrics. They're all Shatner lyrics, though. That's my opinion.
All right. I concede. Hung Up did very well in the questions. But
it did. It certainly did.
We will see how they fare in the reader comments.
Yes. All those people who read our podcast.
Yeah. These comments, and thank God I finally got Patreon to load them for me. That site gets worse every single day. I swear to God. If it collapses, I don't know what this podcast is going to do.
You're just
All
going to
right.
have to like stuff the money into Todd's G-string.
Do you guys, when you guys do song versus song, do you like when you do the poll, do you have an expectation of like, oh, way more people are going to vote for this? Because I would assume way more people are going to vote for Hung Up than Can't Get You Out of My Head. But I guess I don't know.
Sometimes we have a sense that this is going to be a blowout. Sometimes we have no idea. Sometimes we have an idea that's completely wrong. So, it goes. But like, let's see what the comments said. Okay. Laura Polk says, my preteen self will never forgive Madonna for interrupting Gorillaz at the 2006 Grammys. It was exciting when the Peppers Ghost Illusion made it look like they could walk around behind her. But for young me, everything after that was just, wait, they didn't finish Feel Good Inc. Finish Feel Good Inc. I just looked this up. This is a crazy thing because like they're on screen together. Like it's not. And I'm not sure what. The Grammys for a good 20 years was just like, let's jam people together. Why not?
Awful.
I'm not sure what Madonna has to do with the Gorillaz, especially like Confessions era Madonna. I mean, they're both British. Does that count? She was at that time.
I will say that when I said that you could listen to her talk about Confessions on a dance floor in a podcast essentially format, it sure is. It sure is that era where Madonna's doing that accent. It's not as bad as I remember it being, but it is there.
All right. Dip writes, sometimes you got to vote for the song that's not even 5.5 minutes, but feels like 10. I don't know what this comment means. And I don't know which one they're talking about.
I mean, I think the one that's 5.5 minutes is Hung Up. I think Hung Up is the longer song, isn't it? It does feel very long, but I will say this, a thing that if you haven't sat down and just listened to albums by either of these artists, their songs are so long. I mean, I know that they're designed often to be on the dance floor, and so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
But boy, when you listen to Madonna albums, you're like, why are they so long? And every Kylie album is like an hour long. Wild.
All right. Laura Robinson writes, I think Kylie could save the world in 4 minutes in the 2000s while Madonna couldn't. Although maybe that's Timberlake's fault. Does anyone remember Madonna and Justin Timberlake's 4 minutes? It was everywhere at the time. It was like evaporated from history.
I was just gobbling up every single thing Timbaland was doing at this time, where I was just like, he would have like, songs buried on like the Young Jeezy album that I was like, oh my God, this beat is so sick. And then they put out 4 minutes. I was like, oh man, this song blows. I really, really dislike that song. I listened to it again recently and I was like, I guess this isn't as bad as I remember, but I just like, man, that song just does not, like the beat sounds like it's farting. Like it just does not work at all for me.
I just remember it really felt like how do you do, fellow kids moment from Madonna for me, like that the first of the most serious of them, it's weird she can be with Sabrina now and it doesn't feel like she's like trying to pretend that she's a kid anymore, but like when she was with Britney or when she was with Justin, it was just like what are you doing here, old lady? Like
I guess we never talked about Me Against the Music in this, and that was obviously kind of pivotal like a year or two before Hung Up. I love that song, but you're definitely right that she was approaching How Do You Do, Fellow Kids territory.
For me, the one of the funniest moments of music in the 2000s is when Britney says, "It's me." Then Madonna's like, "And me."
Hello. Hello, I'm here.
Okay. All right. Max Leota writes, Kylie Minogue was incredibly rude to me when I met her, so fuck her, voting for a Madonna song I've never even heard before. And Christian Reisman added a comment, he's like, oh, right, because I'm sure Madonna was never rude to anybody ever.
I was just going to say.
Yeah, I choose not to believe this anecdote for the record. So, I
choose to believe it happened and you deserved it. That's my feeling.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you have stinky breath? Are you a stinky? Be honest.
Yep. All right. Jenkins.jpg writes, I'm going with Hung Up. I cannot understate how much that ABBA sample gets me. Yes, Kylie was and still is the future of music. She's one of the best-selling artists of all time. She was on Doctor Who. Don't care. Madonna taught me about sampling and parkour in 2005, and I'm a better man for it.
Can you believe we have gone this far and I did not bring up the fact that Kylie Minogue was on Doctor Who?
I did not know Kylie Minogue was on Doctor Who. I was like, I was going to ask you, are they getting her confused with Billie Piper?
Nope. She is in a Christmas special episode called Voyage of the Damned, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Awesome. Well,
And
I don't give a fuck about Doctor Who.
She's on Titanic in space, and she's in like this weird kinky maid outfit. And the name of her character is Astrid Peth. See, I remember things. It's there. It's in there.
All right. Elsa Mish writes, Hung Up is genuinely my favorite Madonna song, and if it had been pitted against ABBA, I still would have voted for it.
We agree.
Just like you said.
It's better than the ABBA song.
All right. Alan Oiley writes, I salute Kylie for making the sheet she wears in much of the music video work more or less, whereas I don't think Madonna quite pulls off the gym clothes in her music video. I will say this.
The gym clothes. That's like the least descriptive way to...
I can tell you this. I do think that Kylie's outfit is better than Madonna's, but I have had that particular shade of pink leotard burned in my brain ever since 2005. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
You know, if you showed me that shade right now, I was like, I know what music video that's from. Like, that specific color.
I want to be very clear. It's 2026, but you're woke 1.0 canceled for that.
Why?
I don't know.
For what?
I was just saying a funny thing. You're saying something mean about Madonna and her body. How dare you?
No,
I don't actually
wasn't.
know if that's what it was. Maybe it was. I was just trying to cancel somebody like it was 2016. Let me have some fun.
All right.
Come on, guys. We're going canceling tonight.
Get in, loser. All right. Angry Titmouse writes, I am 1, queer, 2, European, and 3, in my 30s. You're monsters for doing this to me.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Every time we do.
You loved this episode. You listened to it and you loved every second.
Yeah, every time we do one of these like big pop diva anthems, we get comments like this calling us homophobic. We got quite a few of them. Feel
free, but the bottom line is when you listen to the actual episode and we glaze both these artists for like an hour and a half, you'll know the truth. You loved it.
Yeah. All right. And one last one. Black Jackal 12 writes, perfect setup for when you do Padam Padam versus Bring Your Love in 20 years.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
My God.
God help us if we're still podcasting in 20 years. God help us if we're still podcasting in 5 years. Okay. All right. Well, that was the comments. We got one thing left. That is the results. Lena, Jason, who do you think won and by how much? Like, give us a percentage, like 60, 40, 90, 10, whatever.
You go first, Lena.
I think it's 50-50. I think it landed right on the line.
I'm going to say Hung Up 70-30.
All right, 70-30. And seriously, Lena, 50-50. You didn't peek at it, did you?
No. I did not peek at it. I genuinely think that this is it's a matchup I came up with. Therefore, it's a good, solid matchup where it will be more or less even. And is the proof why I should always be the one picking the songs.
All right. Well, here are the actual results. For a total of 282 to 689. That is a 29-71% split. It is a landslide for Kylie. Yes.
Wow. I was
Madonna got wrecked.
I'm shocked.
I thought I was going to be like iced because it's literally 71-29. I was like, oh my God, I'm a genius. But it was the complete opposite way.
No, I was surprised too. Confessions 2 is out. I didn't know that. I mean, Hung Up was not as, like, one of the things I was surprised to find out is how big Confessions was in Europe.
Yeah.
But like, not so much here. Like, I saw Hung Up on VH1 a few times. That's about as much as it impact it had. I was really surprised to find out later how big it was and how good it was. But I'm not that surprised, honestly. Look, there's like Kylie, that song's so much bigger over here, and we are a bunch of dumb provincial Americans. Yeah. Thank you for coming in and helping us out with this, Jason. Where can we find you?
I am at Billboard with my lovely colleague, who you guys know, Andrew Unterberger. And I am coming back to your bookstore in November. I have a new book coming out on the pop group One Direction. It comes out November 3rd.
Good times.
Now I know why you're on the show. Todd loves free books.
There you go. I'll send you guys some.
Yeah, I mean, I keep saying this. This podcast is a scam for me to get free books. And we are always going to put some links to some trans charities, things could be better, and you could help make them better in the world.
We're a bunch of fucking charity cases. Help.
Yeah.
But really.
And, literally, you could also give us money on Patreon. Patreon Song vs. Song. That's where we put up the polls. You can see the polls whenever they get put up and, vote. And you can vote on our bonus episodes and get all of those, too. It's great. This month, you make us watch a couple random episodes of Phineas and Ferb. You have that power.
I literally have no idea how I'm going to watch those. Can't wait.
Me neither. I watched a few episodes. Okay, we'll figure out a way to podcast it. Did I get it all? Have I said everything?
What's the next episode?
That's right. All that is left is the next episode, and that's going to be after we take our summer break.
That's right. We're taking August off, so you can come and do your top 100 songs that stop on the word stop.
Yes.
Yes. Let's go.
I'm going to be doing that.
For this.
But when we get back, we are going to be doing White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane versus White Room by Cream. I
think I pitched a different version of this to you, but I'll accept.
No, you absolutely. I went through your suggestions. This is one of yours. This is absolutely one of yours.
Wait, no, didn't I have a Nights in White Satin to this? I think I had like Moody Blues, Nights in White Satin. But it's fine.
You can go back and look at the text.
I will go back and I'm not going to do that. I'll take your word on it.
All right. So long, everybody.
Bye.
Okay, real talk. Shopping doesn't always boost your confidence. Sometimes you just want to put something on and think, yes, this is me. That's why Stitch Fix works. You take a quick style quiz, size, budget, what you're into, and a real human stylist sends pieces picked just for you. Try everything on at home. Keep what you love, send back the rest. Shipping's free. No subscription required. Get $20 off at stitchfix.com/podcast.
You're due for a change of scenery, so see yourself in Harford County with outdoor fun for everyone. Explore local hiking and waterways, great for fishing, kayaking, and boating. Spend an afternoon at one of the 11 breweries, distilleries, and wineries, plus outdoor concerts, festivals, and events every weekend. Conveniently located just off I-95. It's time you see what Harford County has for you. Plan your trip at HelloHarford.com. See you soon.
A snarl, and they're upon him. An ancient forest spirit at his heels. The only escape is in the Toyota BZ Woodland. John Cho stars in Camping. Test drive Toyota's new all-electric family today. Toyota, let's go places.